Welcome to the deep dive. We take your source materials and we really cut straight to the chase, giving you the knowledge you actually need. Today, we are diving deep into procrastination. And wow, this is a topic that just generates so much guilt for people, doesn't it?
It really does. It's monumental.
Our mission today is to, well, completely rewrite how you think about this. Forget that old idea that you procrastinate because you're lazy or maybe broken or you just don't have enough willpower.
Yeah, that's just not it.
We're here to tell you, based on what we've reviewed, that's basically a myth.
And it's a really harmful myth, honestly. Think about it. If you spent years trying every single productivity app, every schedule hack, all these complicated time management methods, and you still find yourself just staring at a blank page or avoiding that phone call, the reason is actually pretty simple. You were solving the wrong problem. Procrastination isn't fundamentally a time management issue. It's driven almost entirely by this really sophisticated dance between your nervous system and your brain.
Right.
So the big idea, the core concept we really need you to absorb today is this. Procrastination is protection.
Exactly.
It's your body and brain doing precisely what they've been wired to do for, well, millennia.
That's absolutely right. And so today we're going to unpack the sort of evolutionary neuroscience behind this. It's really a defense mechanism.
Okay.
We'll reveal those secret subconscious fears that are often running the whole show behind the scenes. And then, crucially, we'll give you an actual step-by-step cure.
And this isn't just motivation. Right?
No, not a motivational speech. This is a concrete 5-step process. And it's designed specifically to engineer a visceral feeling of safety in your body.
Safety. Interesting.
Yeah, because when your body feels safe, the brakes just naturally come off. Action suddenly becomes possible, even easy.
Okay, let's get into that mechanism then. We have to start with the amygdala. Tell us about this internal security guard. Right, the amygdala. So it's part of the limbic system, that older, more primitive part of the brain. Sometimes people call it the reptilian brain.
The survival brain, exactly. Its primary job, its only job, really, developed hundreds of millions of years ago, is super simple. Scan the environment constantly for threats and keep you alive. And it doesn't use logic.
No logic whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just instinct. It couldn't care less about your quarterly report or that important email. It only cares about survival. Pure and simple.
And this is where things get tricky in modern life, isn't it? Our ancient wiring kind of clashes violently sometimes with our modern world.
Massively, yeah.
Our ancestors might have genuinely faced, a saber-toothed tiger.
A real immediate threat.
But we're reacting to completely different kinds of predators now, like the expectation of high performance or public speaking or even just posting something online.
Precisely. So when you sit down to start that huge project or maybe launch that new business idea you have, or even just write something vulnerable, the amygdala doesn't really distinguish the threat level accurately.
It just sees danger.
It sees unknown territory, high stakes, potential failure, potential judgment, and it interprets all of that as basically an existential risk. It just lights up like a Christmas tree, like a warning beacon screaming, "Warning, potential threat. Stop this human immediately."
Wow. Okay, how fast does that response actually kick in? Because sometimes I feel totally fine, even motivated, right up until the second my fingers hover over the keyboard.
It's instantaneous.
Yeah.
And it's subconscious. You don't even realize it's happening initially. The moment the brain registers that task as high stakes or potentially risky, bam, that alarm goes off.
And then what happens in the body? Well, the body gets flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, the stress hormones. But here's the critical part for procrastination. The blood flow to your prefrontal cortex is significantly reduced. The thinking part of the brain.
Yeah, the part responsible for executive function, logic, planning, decision-making, impulse control, all the stuff you need to actually do the task.
Wait, hang on. So my brain is physically making me dumber, or at least less capable, when I'm anxious about starting something?
That's a blunt way to put it, but yeah, essentially.
Okay, that explains why suddenly I might feel confused or just overwhelmingly tired, even if I slept well.
You got it. You're not tired because you genuinely need sleep in that moment.
Yeah.
You're tired because your nervous system is actively rerouting energy towards survival mode.
Right.
Fight, flight, or freeze.
Freeze, yeah.
And that leaves your cognitive function impaired. Your ability to organize complex thoughts, to prioritize, to analyze, it just plummets. And that results in the stalling behavior we all recognize.
Or the sudden urgent need to clean the kitchen.
Or get a snack you don't really need. Or the classic modern one, doom scrolling social media.
Ah, the doom scroll. Why is that the go-to avoidance strategy for so many of us?
Well, think about it. It's super low effort, right? It provides high novelty, constant little dopamine hits. And crucially, It requires zero perceived risk from the brain's perspective. Your brain is essentially saying, look, I cannot handle the complex perceived threat of writing this proposal right now, but I can definitely handle processing these easy, low-stakes, novel bits of information on this phone.
So you're not really avoiding the task itself, like the proposal or the workout?
No, you are actively, physically avoiding the feeling underneath it. The fear, the overwhelm, the anxiety, that's the real thing you're dodging.
That completely flips the script. It means procrastination isn't a character flaw, it's a biological response.
Exactly. You're avoiding the emotion, not the action.
And this also means that those super high performers, the sources mention NFL athletes, CEOs of huge companies, they aren't necessarily using some secret productivity hack we don't know about.
Not usually, no. They've likely, consciously or unconsciously, found ways to manage this internal safety mechanism. They don't need another efficiency app.
They need safety.
They need their system, their body, to trust that the action they're about to take is safe, that it won't kill them, metaphorically speaking.
And the fear. It's always going to be loud, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Fear screams, inspiration whispers. That saying is biologically accurate. Fear's purpose is protection, so it gets priority signaling. It's designed to be loud and interruptive.
So the goal isn't to eliminate fear entirely.
No, you can't. The goal is to teach the nervous system, through experience, that this specific activity, launching the thing, writing the chapter, making the call, is not actually fatal. It's survivable.
Okay. So if we accept we aren't lazy, and we know our brain is kind of hijacking us with these defense mechanisms, what are the specific fears lurking underneath, the subconscious ones that trigger this whole meltdown? Let's name them.
Yeah, let's get specific. The sources we looked at consistently point to a few core narratives. The big two are definitely the fear of failure and the fear of judgment or rejection.
Okay, failure and judgment. What else?
Then there's a really pervasive fear of not being good enough, just sort of fundamentally. And also, interestingly, the fear of being seen.
Fear of being seen, like fear of success.
Yeah, it sounds counterintuitive, right? But success often means big changes, more visibility, higher stakes, which the nervous system can register as dangerous new territory. So yeah, fear of success is real, and it often looks like procrastination.
Let's dig into those a bit. Let's connect the fear back to the underlying story the brain is telling itself, because that story seems to be the real villain here.
Absolutely. Take the fear of failure. It often masquerades as perfectionism, right?
Endless planning, tweaking, waiting for the perfect time that never comes.
Exactly.
Right.
It's just failure avoidance in disguise. The hidden story playing in the background is something like, if I really, truly try my absolute best and I still fail, well, that proves it. It proves I'm fundamentally flawed or just not good enough.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So procrastination becomes this weirdly convenient escape hatch. It lets you tell yourself, well, I didn't really fail because I wasn't good enough. I failed because I didn't really start properly, or I ran out of time. It protects your sense of self-worth, paradoxically, by keeping you from fully committing effort. And does that story come from somewhere specific?
Often, yeah. It might echo a critical voice from your past, from your parent, a demanding coach or teacher, or just an internal critic you've trained up over years of self-judgment. Okay, the other huge one, fear of judgment or rejection. Why does that feel so physically painful sometimes? Like, if I post something online and get negative comments, well, that taps into something incredibly primal. Evolutionarily speaking, rejection was potentially fatal.
Fatal.
Yeah, think about our ancestors. Our deepest need is for belonging,
Right.
for being part of the tribe.
Yeah.
Being rejected, ostracized, exiled from the group, that often meant almost certain death. No protection, no shared resources.
Okay, wow.
So when your nervous system registers the possibility of judgment today, like getting critical feedback on a project or someone disagreeing with your idea, it can activate some of the same neural pathways as actual physical pain.
So the subconscious story is something like, if I put myself, my work, my ideas out there, and people judge or reject me, I'm risking being cast out, being deemed unworthy of the tribe, and the brain just slams on the brakes procrastination to prevent that perceived catastrophe. That makes so much sense. Okay, this brings us perfectly to the action plan. We've nailed down the cause this nervous system threat response. We've named the underlying fear narratives. Now, how do we actually engineer that feeling of safety you mentioned? Let's walk through the 5 steps, right? The practical part.
Step 1 is absolutely crucial and maybe a bit counterintuitive for some. Work on your body before your brain, body before brain. Why?
Because, as we discussed, when fear and anxiety are high, that blood flow is averted away from your prefrontal cortex, your logical brain.
Right, the thinking part is offline.
Exactly. So trying to use logic at that point, trying to think your way out of it or force yourself to focus, is literally working against your own physiology. You're trying to drive with the emergency brake pulled tight. You have to calm the body down first to bring the logical brain back online. Okay, but here's a potential issue. If I'm already feeling overwhelmed by the idea of starting the main task, adding another thing to do, like some complicated breathing exercise or movement routine, that can feel like just one more task I might fail at or procrastinate on. How do we handle that friction?
That's a great point. The methods have to be simple, immediate, and physical enough to genuinely disrupt your current state. We're not really adding a task. We're actively reducing the stored tension that's blocking action in the first place.
Okay, so simple and physical, like what?
Nice and shake is key.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Just stand up right where you are and physically shake out your arms and legs
Vigorously.
for maybe 60 seconds.
Even if I look ridiculous.
Especially if you look ridiculous. It doesn't matter. You're physically discharging some of that pent-up stress energy. You're resetting your baseline. It works.
Okay, shaking. What else? What about that tapping technique mentioned?
Yeah, tapping, just lightly, kind of firmly, hitting your muscles, arms, legs, torso with your fists or open hands. It works similarly to shaking. It disrupts that internal tension loop and forces your awareness back into your physical body, grounding you.
And then pairing that with breathing. Yes, pair that physical reset with a specific nervous system anchor like box breathing. It's simple. Inhale slowly for a count of 4, hold your breath gently for 4, exhale slowly for 4, and then hold the breath out for 4.
Repeat that cycle a few times. Why that specific pattern?
That rhythmic, controlled breathing directly activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system. It sends a powerful signal to your brain that the immediate threat has passed, and it's safe to calm down.
Got it. And then for people who want the really quick, almost aggressive reset, there was mention of cold exposure.
Ah, yes, the ice water face plunge. It sounds intense, but it's incredibly effective as a rapid state change.
How does it work? You just fill a bowl with ice water, take a deep breath, and plunge your face into it for, say, 15, 30 seconds. The sudden cold on your face triggers the mammalian diving reflex, which strongly activates the vagus nerve.
And the vagus nerve.
It's a major player in the parasympathetic system. So you get an immediate shift towards calm. It's like hitting a physiological reset button. You're basically telling your body in a very undeniable way, see, we're not actually running from a tiger right now. We're safe enough to do this. It signals immediate safety. Okay, so step 1, calm the physical system first. Shake, tap, breathe, or maybe even the ice plunge. Once the body's a bit calmer, what's step 2? Step 2 is tiny tasks, or as the source material nicely puts it, the pebble.
The pebble, I like that. It sounds manageable.
That's the whole point. This step seems straightforward, but you're right. People often still try to choose a pebble that's actually still a rock, maybe even a boulder.
They overestimate what tiny means in this context.
Exactly. The goal of the pebble is not achievement initially. It's proof. You are simply proving to your primitive threat-scanning brain that taking this specific action, however small, is not dangerous. It won't kill you.
So if my brain sees the task as, like, writing a whole book.
Yeah, instant panic from the amygdala. Mountain. Threat.
So the pebble isn't write the first chapter.
No way. Not even write the first page. The pebble is maybe open the document. Or even just sit down at the desk. Or maybe write one single, absolutely terrible first sentence.
Write a bad sentence, intentionally.
Yes. Because the goal isn't quality, it's just starting. The activation energy needs to be so incredibly low that the amygdala doesn't even have time to raise the alarm.
So if my goal is to start a new fitness routine, say run 3 miles, the pebble isn't run half a mile. The pebble is just put on my running shoes.
Perfect example. Or maybe just fill up my water bottle or walk out the front door. If you're terrified of launching your new website, the pebble might be draft the subject line only for the announcement email.
Wow. Okay. So an action so small, it feels almost ridiculous.
Yes. It needs to feel almost too easy. But that tiny, simple act of completion does something powerful. It allows your nervous system to register, okay, that happened, and I'm still alive. That wasn't so bad. It signals safety and starts to build a tiny bit of momentum. Okay, body calmed, tiny action taken, momentum potentially starting. Now we go back inside, right? Step 3, name the fear and disarm the story. Exactly. Now that the immediate panic has subsided a bit, we can do the slightly more cognitive work. We need to bring those subconscious fear patterns we talked about earlier out of the shadows and look at them directly.
So actively confronting the narrative,
Yes.
you need to ask yourself, quite specifically, what is the pattern that keeps showing up here? What am I really afraid is going to happen if I do this thing? And crucially, whose voice am I hearing in my head when I hesitate? Is it mine or someone else's from my past? Finding the source of the story.
And then questioning its validity, giving it less power.
Okay, so let's apply the antidotes mentioned. For that fear of failure, the antidote is kind of redefining failure itself. Precisely. You challenge the story. Ask yourself, okay, if failure doesn't automatically mean I'm broken or worthless, what else could it mean? Could it just be data, feedback? Am I willing to learn?
Am I willing to grow from this? Is it okay to be imperfect while I learn? You're negotiating with that fear, offering it a different interpretation.
And for the fear of rejection, how do you disarm that primal threat? You make it specific and less absolute. Ask, rejection from who exactly? Is this specific person's opinion, or even a few people's opinions, actually fatal to my survival or well-being? Probably not.
Right. Is their potential rejection really about my fundamental worth as a person? Or is it maybe just about their subjective taste or their own stuff? You contextualize it. You're teaching your brain that tribal banishment isn't actually on the table because you submitted a slightly flawed report or someone didn't like your blog post.
Sure.
Okay, that's powerful. Moving into the more motivational side now, step 4, connect to the why. If the nervous system is screaming danger, how does thinking about my mission statement actually help? It helps because the why, the purpose, needs to feel bigger and more compelling than the momentary discomfort or fear of starting.
Okay.
If your purpose for doing the task only serves yourself, I want to make more money, I want to look good, that purpose can easily get crushed under the weight of the amygdala's fear signals. It's not robust enough.
What if it's bigger?
But if your mission, your why, is connected to something larger, like serving your community, helping your family, contributing something meaningful, advancing a cause you believe in, that purpose provides a powerful countervailing force.
Like an emotional anchor.
Exactly. As that quote goes, when your why is strong enough, your how will reveal itself. You need to consciously connect that small, scary pebble you're about to move back to, the massive positive impact it could eventually have, maybe for others.
So you need a reason to push through the discomfort that's bigger than your immediate fear of judgment or failure.
Precisely. The why acts as an emotional shield, or maybe a compelling reason to face the what-if fears. It gives you leverage against the resistance.
Got it. Okay, that leads us to the final step, step 5, which sounds really intriguing. Schedule failure time. This seems like the ultimate nervous system retraining. How does making failure intentional actually remove the resistance? Kind of brilliant, actually. It embraces that fuck it up and figure it out philosophy, as the sources put it.
Yeah.
Think about it. If the biggest brake on your action is the fear of imperfection, the fear of not doing it well enough, then we remove that brake entirely by making the whole purpose of the activity to be messy, to be imperfect, maybe even to fail.
You're kidding. Schedule time to fail.
Yeah.
Well, schedule time to practice without attachment to outcome. You are literally training your nervous system through direct experience that imperfection is acceptable, that trying is safe, even if the result isn't polished.
Okay, give me an example. Instead of blocking out an hour to write the perfect draft of something, you schedule, say, 30 minutes, and the explicit goal is, write 30 minutes of utterly horrible, unusable garbage copy. Just get words down no matter how bad. Or record a podcast episode that you know will be messy.
Yes. Commit to recording a messy, unedited 15-minute practice episode that no one will ever hear. Or maybe spend 1 hour deliberately testing some scary new software or process with zero expectation of success or mastery.
So the focus shifts completely.
Completely. The entire point becomes practicing the act of showing up and trying, regardless of the outcome. You are systematically teaching your nervous system through repetition that the process of trying and even screwing up a bit is fundamentally safe. The action itself, the showing up, becomes the win, not the polished result.
Wow, that feels liberating, actually.
It can be. It takes the pressure off enormously. And really, this ties everything neatly back to our central discovery today, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You are not procrastinating because you are lazy or broken or flawed. You are wired for survival.
Yeah.
And this deep dive shows the real solution isn't another life hack. It's not about more motivation. It's this deeper foundational work of learning to understand and regulate your own nervous system. It's about consciously engineering safety where your brain currently perceives danger.
So when you consistently practice these steps, when you teach your nervous system bit by bit that it's actually safe to start small,
Mhm.
Safe to be seen, even if imperfectly. Safe to fail sometimes. Safe to, well, suck a little bit while you're learning and getting better over time.
Yeah, giving yourself permission for that.
Then those self-imposed procrastination breaks just naturally start to release. You're not fighting yourself anymore.
Exactly. You're working with your biology instead of against it.
And really, you're not here on Earth to live under the, I don't know, the tyranny of subconscious fear, right? You're supposed to be out there building a life, creating things, doing work that excites you, that maybe helps other people too. Even if that whole process requires stepping into discomfort and being courageous sometimes.
That's the potential, absolutely. So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to reflect on. What one small, truly safe step, what single pebble can you identify and maybe even take today? One that specifically demonstrates to your nervous system that the future you desire, the thing you're avoiding, is actually less dangerous than the fear that's currently protecting you from it.